I'm out for a camp tonight, and you might be wondering why I haven't got a rucksack on. Well, I've come to essentially a campsite, so it's not a traditional wild camp, but there's no running water, there's no toilets, there's no electric, so other than there being a small car park nearby, we will be wild camping. The reason I've come here is I want to test out my winter kit in a safe environment. It's actually a triple SI site, or site of special scientific interest, I think it's called. It's run and looked after by a charity, and they do let people wild camp here if you make a small donation to the charity to help them keep the site as undisturbed as possible. So there's designated areas that you can camp in. You can't just camp anywhere, and obviously you do have to follow the rules of leave no trace and the rules that they set out for you. You are allowed to have campfires in specific areas that are marked out as well, so we will be trying to get a fire going later on. There's 3 or 4 others joining me as well, so we'll have plenty of kit to have a look at, and we'll see how it all performs and what we get up to. So before I forget, I have laid up my clothing as well. So I've got my Mountain Warehouse merino trousers on, and I bought a new pair of fleece lined trousers from Amazon. I did size up a bit too much, so they look a bit like MC Hammer trousers. Then I've got my Mountain Warehouse merino layer on top, then a t-shirt, and then this Berghaus fleece, and I've got my Decathlon -10 coat in the car as well. Just out of interest, let me know down in the comments if you would call this a wild camp, or if not, what's the criteria that you use to class it as a wild camp. There's a weird carving thing over here, and I'm not sure if it's scary or not. What do you think? So I think this is the area that we've been given. There's a fire pit there. There's plenty of flat areas around for pitching tents, so we'll get one up there, one on there, one down there. There's another area over there, so it's really well spaced out. So hopefully I won't keep anybody awake with my snoring. There is a river that runs along down the bottom here as well that you can probably hear in the background, so that's quite a nice relaxing thing to have as well. Should be a good night this, I'm looking forward to it. Now I know I've said it before, but I am a big believer in testing your kit before you put yourself in any potentially dangerous situations. So sites like this, there's not just this one, there's loads all over the country. If you look for wild camping campsites or nearly wild sites, there's plenty that you can go to. You can drive quite close and you can test your kit to make sure that it works properly, make sure that you know how to use it, and get an idea of what temperatures and what conditions it can put up with. It's the first time ever that I've not been able to get all of my kit into my trusty Kestrel 48. I've got my ice flame quilt in a dry bag just carabined to the outside, but I have got a big 4-season budget sleeping bag in here as well, so that's taking up a lot of space. Got my chair as well that I packed separately. I put the fabric for it in here and just strapped the poles to the bottom of my pack there. But I'll give you a proper tour of everything in a bit. I think the others will start arriving in half an hour or so. So I'm just going to get back to the site, chuck my stuff down and chill out for a bit, I think. This is my last camp of 2022 as well. So if this is the kind of stuff that tickles your pickle, you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button. I've already got loads of camps and adventures planned for 2023, so stay tuned and follow along on those. And I've asked on the channel before as well, but if there is anything specific that you want to see, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I thought for a second that Michael Jackson had been here, but there is a little plus there. So who could that be? Mick and Jane? Yeah, we'll call them Mick and Jane. Somebody's kindly left us a few little bits of wood. I've got some more in the car to bring for the fire later. I'm not sure how useful this sawdust is going to be though. There's a few decent sized stumps that have been left as well. That's weird, isn't it, how that tree's growing over the top of the other one. And there's a stump here that's a bit like Game of Thrones, isn't it? Imagine if the others turned up then, just I was sat like that. Map it. Honestly though, you could explore around this area for days. I love it. Also, if it looks like I've got lipstick on camera, I haven't. Just got sore lips. So I've got a manly chapstick.
Yeah, I was very good at that. First I was like, I feel like Iron Man, don't you? Like, sending you drone.
So my dilemma is, I've got this Viking Trek bag. It's a budget bag, I think it's about 35 quid off Amazon. And it's meant to be a sort of 3-season or cold weather bag at least. I've bought that. I've got my ice flame quilt as well, and I'm tempted just to see how I get on with that before resorting to the bag. Like I said earlier, I am pretty well layered up. I'm on a warm mat in a warm tent, so I might keep that as a backup, or at least test it another day. I'm almost set up, just pumping up my high Kencher pillow, getting everything in the tent, and then I'll go for a nosy around everyone else's setups. Right, I think I'm in, so let me show you around. So that's the ice flame quilt. It's rated with a comfort rating to 5 degrees, I think. It's meant to drop to -3 tonight, but like I said, I am layered up. I've got my nature hike down boots as well, high Kencher pillow, carry more gloves, a buff, a hat. And I've got my food pouch there, GoPro batteries and electricals and hygiene kit there, a light for later on, then just a couple of bottles of water. And then one of the benefits of having this Helm 2 is you've got 2 vestibules. So that's where I've stuffed the budget sleeping bag. Who thinks I'm going to have to resort to that tonight? Drop a comment and have a guess before we see. Got my bag of bags, and then I store my chair in this vestibule as well. I don't think I'm going to need that tonight because there's plenty of logs and stuff to sit on. Bought a couple of beers as well. Brixton Brewery Atlantic Pale Ale. I think that's, what's that? 5.4%. They're just small ones. Then a Beavertown neck oil. So they'll be nice to have around the fire later.
Hey, yo, bud.
What are you saying?
Look at that.
That's stealth or what? Christmas, innit? Right, let's have a nosy round everybody else's setup before it gets too dark. So this is Graeme's setup. He's in the Alpkit Soloist. What's that? Thermal Q. Hyperlaminar.
Mountain hardware.
Ah.
Roofing mat.
And then a foil.
Roofing mat, then foil, and then the close foam. And then I've got me bag liner in there.
Nice. Is that a Sea to Summit bag line you've got?
It is, yeah, yeah.
And then Jason's in his Terra Laser Photon Elite. Not messing about. What we got? Rab Alpine Pro 600. Is that a thermarest?
Yeah.
And then about 6 pillows by the looks of it.
Double pillow.
Double pillow. Comfort.
Comfort.
Decent size in there though, isn't it? Can you get stuff in the other side as well?
No.
No, just one vestibule. You probably know this Muppet, Grizzly Gaz, everybody knows him.
Yeah, go in there and have a look.
So he's in the 3F UL Zhengtu 2 in the khaki, still the best colour for a tent I think. All his cooking stuff in the vestibule. These are similar to the Nature Hike Cloud up to, I think Gaz has done a comparison video on his page as well, if you're looking at either of these 2 tents. Thermarest mat, I think that's a Tracology pillow. A Nature Hike bag, feels like a down bag. Decent size in there as well. So that's all the setups. I'm not going to spend all night shoving the camera in people's faces, but I'll show you what we get up to. We're basically going to get the fire going, sit around it, probably talk about camping gear, just have a general chit chat really. It's just coming up to 4 o'clock, so we're starting to lose light now. I think it gets dark about 4:15 now.
I like that, innit?
Yeah, it's good. What's it weigh? 600?
I think it's just a bit more than that. I think it was
It's all
680.
metal though, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no plastic
Hello.
bits on it. You've got to be experienced to do that.
Yeah,
Shows how it's done then.
bushcraft for me.
Bushcraft 101.
I might even get a stick on the flame in a minute. So I'm guessing nobody's a football fan then?
Yeah. Anyone want some old wine? Bring your own cup though.
Hogwarts Express I think come through.
I've actually watched that this morning. Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tastes like medicine that does.
You think?
Yeah.
Don't like it? It's the only problem with it.
Semi-mulled wine.
Right, so we're just having dinner. I've got something to eat, pasta bolognese. What have you two got?
Chicken tikka.
Chicken tikka, rice and noodles, you say?
Rice.
And then Gaz has got a steak, hasn't
I
you?
want steak, yeah, steak and mash.
Want these little good things.
So the fire's just died down and we've retired to our respective tents for the night. It's been good to catch up with the guys. I met Jason and Graeme at the last group camp that we did back in August. We had a bit of a heat wave then, so totally different conditions tonight. And it's been nice to meet Gaz for the first time. We've been messaging and speaking for quite a while now, so it's been nice to catch up face to face. I've still just got the ice flame quilt on here. I've put my nature hike down boots on. I'm just going to see how it goes. These Helm tents are pretty warm anyway, so I would imagine I'll be alright. I am going to swap out my Christmas hat for a thinner and softer beanie that I've got here, just because it's nicer to sleep in. Same with the buff. I've got a buff here just in case I need it. So if and when I start to get cold, I'll layer up with those first, and then if I need to, I've got that big budget sleeping bag that I can add to my sleep system as well. I have got as well a electric hand warmer from a Cooper or O Cooper, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Looks a bit like a computer mouse. It's got 3 levels of heat on it and you can use it as a power bank. I did buy this myself from Amazon. I think it's 10,000 milliamp hours as a power bank, but obviously as you're using it to heat, it'll use the same power source, so I wouldn't rely on it as a power bank if you are going to use it to heat up. But again, it's a fallback option. I don't want to start out with everything because I want tonight to be a bit of an experiment to see how well everything performs, so I'll add things into the mix as and when I need to. So good morning. I had a decent night's sleep last night. I managed to last about 25 minutes, half an hour before I got the sleeping bag out, because I could just feel myself starting to get cold. I knew the ice flame quilt wasn't going to last much longer, so I just got wrapped up in the bag as well. And then from that point I was nice and warm all the way through the night. Looks like we did have a little bit of snow last night. I've got some condensation inside the tent, which is not ideal, but in this kind of weather, in this kind of environment, it's kind of to be expected. I'm just going to start packing a few things up in the tent and then we'll go and see how everyone else got on. So I've just had a strange man bringing a delivery to my tent. Gaz has woken up early and gone out and got us all a McDonald's breakfast. So I've got a cup of tea. I had a hash brown, that didn't last long enough for me to show you on camera. And then I've got a double sausage McMuffin. What a legend, thanks Gaz. So yeah, there is rules like leave no trace, everybody bangs on about all the time, but the big one for me is always pack your fairy lights up while they're switched on. It just looks so much cooler. Right, let's go and see how everybody else is getting on. My missus is not talking to you. I've sent her a picture of my McDonald's. I thought you were slumming it in the woods.
Slumming.
Nah.
Glamping.
Yeah.
Super.
Proper glampers. Is Graeme alive? Have we seen him this morning?
I ain't seen him yet. I've seen him.
He is alive.
Seen his light.
Graeme? You dead? I've just put my stuff in the car, and then further down the bottom there's an old abandoned house, so we're going to go and have a look around that. Hat hair going on again. I don't think there's a way in, is there? Block down there.
Gates open here.
Oh, yeah. No way in. Gates open. Don't know what this used to be. I think it's been a hotel before. Obviously somebody's house at some point. 1848 on the door there. So I'll say a quick thank you again to Jason, Graeme and Gaz for joining me on this one. I'm sure you've seen Gaz's channel already, but if you haven't, go and check it out. Have an awesome Christmas and I'll see you next year.